Most people think religion is about being right and proving your faith is better, or showing that your group is more chosen than others. But what if I told you that's not the point at all? Harold Klemp shares a story that reveals why people truly come to the Egg spiritual path, and the lessons might completely shift the way you see others. Hi lovely viewers, my name is Beatrice and I welcome you back to my Journey Faithful Compassion Hub. Here we explore spiritual truths in a way that makes them practical for daily life, no matter your faith. Today I'm diving deep into a talk from Harold Klemp, a talk that many may hear, but only a few will understand. I'll be reacting in 3 parts, the beginning, the middle and the end, so we can really go deep without losing the flow of Harold's message.
The whole purpose in Eckankar, and indeed soul's purpose in being in this world, is to find divine love. People come to the teachings of Eck for a number of reasons. Some come for the phenomenal things, wanting to learn learning the gift of prophecy and all these things. They want to learn soul travel, which is a spiritual art. And they want the gift of healing and all these things. But those who are ahead spiritually, they come to Eck with the desire to find love, to find divine love. And in fact, they have often asked beforehand, they said, show me how to find love. And then they find it in Eck. Not to say that people in other paths don't do the same thing in their particular religion, because God has established all religions, because each religion serves a purpose. Each religion fills the needs of a certain group of souls. And within each religion there are those who are far advanced spiritually and those who are beginning on the spiritual path. This accounts for the wide range of behavior in people. Just because someone is a Christian is no guarantee that the person will be an ethical and morally upright person. And just because a person is an Eckist, that offers no similar guarantee. Because in Eck, we have people who are far advanced spiritually and others who are just beginning the spiritual path. But for whatever reason, a person chooses a certain religion, it answers that soul's spiritual needs of the day. And this day may last a lifetime, may last even several lifetimes, may last a year or only a week. The point is, we are all where we belong in our state of consciousness.
Harold begins by pointing out something we often forget. People come to the spiritual path for different reasons, and that's okay. Some want miracles, healing and spiritual powers, and others, those who are further along, seek divine love, a love that transforms the heart and life forever. But here is the thing many people don't get. There is no better or worse religion. Each path is meant to serve a specific needs of different souls at different times in their spiritual evolution. That's huge. Now, why is so important? Because in everyday life we see the opposite happening all the times. People judge others harshly for their religion, saying, your religion is wrong, or you are not really spiritual because you don't follow my faith. The judgment creates walls, conflicts, and misunderstanding, and often forgets that just because someone belongs to a religion, it doesn't automatically make them kind, ethical, or loving. And there are kind people everywhere, and there are those who struggle everywhere, no matter what religion they belong to. The truth is, spiritual growth isn't about labels or rituals. It's about state of consciousness, the inner journey each soul is on. Some souls may need years or even many lifetimes in one tradition to develop the lesson they need before they are ready to move on to a deeper or a different spiritual teachings. Others take shortcuts in another path. This means everyone is exactly where they need to be right now. No one is better or worse. just different places on the same spiritual journey. This is what Eck calls the spiritual law of divine tolerance. It teaches us to honor every path because God has established all religions for a purpose. When we hold this understanding in our heart, it breaks down the judgment and opens the door to compassion and true spiritual friendship. Why this matters now more than ever? In today's world where religion can be a source of conflict, misunderstanding, or even violence, Harold's reminder is about moving beyond blind loyalty to one group and embracing the universal truth that divine love is present to every sincere seeker regardless of their faith. For me, this teaching has been freeing. When I stopped judging others for their religion and instead looked for the love and sincerity in their hearts, my own spiritual path blossomed. I found peace in knowing I don't have to convince anyone or prove my way is right. The journey is personal and love is the ultimate goal. So today I invite you to ask yourself, what judgment about others' faith, spiritual, might be holding you back? How can you open your heart wider to many ways God's love can reach people? Because Harold Klemp says, we are all where we belong in our state of consciousness. And when we honor that, we step into true spiritual freedom and love.
Well, this father had a daughter who was just getting interested in softball. She'd never played before. So he was pretty much in the role of the Eck masters, who then find people who want to take another step spiritually. And then how do you show them? How do you let them develop themselves to be the best they can be? Because the coach can't go on the field and play first base or pitch or any of those other things in a game. The players have to do that themselves. Well, this was a new team in a very competitive league. It was an expansion team. And none of the girls had ever played before. And so the first year, they lost all their games, something like 15, 16. They lost every game. Some of them, if you know anything about baseball, scores like 48-3. The first year passed, the team lost every game. Second year, the team, I believe they won, maybe 2 games. 2 out of 15 or 16, something like this. They won a couple. In the third year, another expansion team joined the circuit, and they were going to play that team twice. So the coach, the father of this girl, he figured, well, another expansion team, they've got to be worse than our team, so maybe we can pick up 2 more wins. Maybe we'll get 4 wins for the season, and we'll be doing well. But his daughter was very self-disciplined. She enjoyed playing softball. In the same way that if you're going to walk a spiritual path or join a religion, you should enjoy it. Put yourself into it. Whether you're a Catholic or a Lutheran or a Pentecostal or an Eckist, whatever, if you're going to be on the team, be a good team member. Go out and practice. Do whatever your church says is the right thing to do for your religion to grow spiritually. The season started off very well. Before they knew it, they had a 1-loss record of 8 wins, no defeats. And finally they came right to the final game. They were tied, well, not tied. They were going to play last year's champions in the final game of the season. If they tied, or if they won this game, they would tie for first place. If they lost, this team would get second place. Still very good record, considering this was only their 3rd year. So the game started, and it was a low-scoring game. After a few innings, the score was 1-0 in favor of their opponents. And then later in the game, his daughter came up to bat, and she hit a ball very deep into the outfield. And as soon as the ball got out there, the girl on the other team who was playing that position, she threw up her hands, which was a signal to the umpire, which said, "The ball has rolled under the fence." And this would make it, instead of a home run, another score, another run for the team. It would be that she would not get that. She would have to go back to second base. So the father came out, he was the coach, and he discussed it with the umpire. He said that ball wasn't anywhere near the fence. And if it rolled under the fence, how could the fielder pick the ball up and just throw it right back in? If it had been on the other side of the fence, she couldn't have reached it. She wasn't even close to it. But the umpire said she threw up her hands, and that makes it an automatic ground rule double. Well, the players of the opposing team had told them that their coach had a standing rule that whenever a ball got past one of the outfielders and was near the fence, they were to cheat and throw up their hands and act as if it were under the fence. Now, the coach didn't like this, but he tried to show the same sense of spiritual balance that all the girls on his daughter's team did. He didn't get upset. And he noticed that the girls, they played, he said, like Eckmasters. They keep calm, no matter what befell them, no matter how bad a break went against them. They never got upset. And the reason they didn't get upset, they had started at the bottom 2 years ago, and they knew all the hardships that could happen in a game. They had seen everything. They had been at the very bottom and worked their way up to the top. And so the final inning came. The first two players, this team, daughter's team, was up to bat last. And his daughter, two players were out, for second out. So with only one out to go, his daughter comes up, and he hoped she would have just one more hit in her. But she hit the ball very weakly, and it just sort of dribbled past the first baseman, but it got her on base. The next player also hit another ball that wasn't hit very strongly, very sharply, and she got on. And then, against all odds, the third girl, she hit the ball hard, deep into center field, and it scored 2 runs, and they won the game, and they tied for the championship. And he realized then that if he had become upset, he might have changed the destiny of these girls who had worked so hard to achieve the championship or the co-championship themselves. He remembered something from Stranger by the River, the book by Paul Twitchell, a statement that said, "Do not partake of the evil of another." So when the other coach had cheated them, this coach kept his temper, and he let the game play out on the field. And the girls won. They had fulfilled their own destiny. Sometimes it takes a great amount of self-discipline and love to let the events play themselves out and not get in our own way. Often we get in our own way by displays of anger, temper, and any number of things, greed, vanity. We hurt ourselves spiritually. We try to move ahead at the expense of others. And then we're surprised when life slaps us in the face and sets us back 2 steps for every step we've taken. Through all this, we are speaking of the Ek. This is our name for Divine Spirit, for the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost, the Comforter, whatever terms you're used to hearing this spoken of. Sometimes it's known as the audible life stream, but for our purposes we often just speak of Divine Spirit or the Ek.
Harold then tells a story about a father coaching his daughter's softball team, and this is such a beautiful metaphor for spiritual growth. The softball story isn't just about sports, it's about life and spirituality. The father could have exploded when the other coach told his players to cheat, and maybe he would have been justified in the world's eyes. But in that moment, he made a choice not to let someone else's wrong pull him into the same darkness. Paul Tuchel said it best in the book, Stranger by the River. Do not partake of evil of another. If someone chooses dishonor, that's their path to work through. The moment we join in anger or bitterness, we are stepping into the same vibration they are in. Spiritually, that's dangerous because we can block our blessings or we cut ourselves off from divine flow. This is where I see so many of us trip up, including myself at times. When life seems unfair, we want to react immediately. But in the spiritual journey, the test is often not about the event itself, but how we respond. And here is the deeper point. Sometimes the greatest proof of spiritual maturity is not what power you have, but what power you choose not to use. Restraint, the patience, the inner balance, divine love in action. I think Harold's message so far is crystal clear. Divine love isn't just about feeling good. It's about showing patience, tolerance, and trust in the divine plan even life feels unfair. And if we are facing unfair treatment, delays, setbacks, maybe the higher lessons is patience, grace, and trust that divine spirit has your back. If this message touched you, please like this video and share it with someone that might need to hear this message. And please don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any part of our spiritual. And I would love to hear your thoughts. Please drop a comment below and tell me what stood out the most to you from these teachings today. And your perspective might inspire someone on their spiritual journey. I love you all. May the blessings be.